Research emphasizes that relationship-based emotional development is more powerful than short-term behavioral fixes. How can we build a strong and healthy relationship with our kids? Why is it so important for children to remain attached to adults?
Enough that a plant and a tree could not exist without being attached. A marriage would be incredibly frustrating if a partner didn't experience, when he looked in the eyes of or her partner, understanding where attachment comes from, that we're fueling it. Grieving is incredibly important, something that's virtually pathologized in North America. North American parents are afraid of upsetting their children.
Welcome to Khan Klinics, your dedicated space for exploring the vital connections that shape your well-being. Here we dive into everything from achieving peak physical fitness by mastering sustainable weight management to optimizing your diet for a vibrant life. We're passionate about uncovering the power interplay between your mental and physical health, offering you insightful strategies to nurture both. Join us as we unlock the secrets to embark on your self-confidence and your inspiration by interviewing the top-rated personalities, not from only the US, but around the world. At Khan Klinics, our commitment is to bring you evidence-based information that inspires you confidently control your health journey and live your life to the absolute fullness. I'm your host, Amir Khan. Let's get ready to unlock the true potential of being a human with the most amazing people around us. Ever notice how children sometimes seem emotionally switched off, even when everything around them seems normal? Or asked why modern kids sometimes seem emotionally distant, even with all the screens and connections around them? The answer may lie in what science calls attachment function, the deeper emotional bonds that shapes a child's capacity for connections, resilience, and self-control. Recent developmental research emphasizes that relationship-based emotional development is more powerful than short-term behavioral fixes. A recent global study looked at early adolescent and found that insecure attachments, whether with parents or peers, were linked to a higher level of anxiety, depression, stress. Crucially, loneliness explained most of this link. In other words, without a secure connection, loneliness drives emotional pain. Another study among out-of-school adolescents in South Korea showed that strong attachments to parents and to a lesser extent peers help lower the risk of gaming addiction. But this worked mostly by reducing the social stigma. Feeling accepted by close adults helped teens avoid needing escape in excessive gaming. That's why attachment matters, not just for discipline, but for emotional survival. But the question is, how can we build a strong and healthy relationship with our kids? Let's dip and dive into this. Welcome to another illuminating episode of Khan Clinics. I'm your host, Dr. Amir Khan, and with me I have Maya Gaylor. And today we're joined by a remarkable developmental psychologist, founder of the Neufeld Institute, and co-author of the best-selling book, Hold On to Your Kids, Why Parents Need to Matter More Than Peers, by Dr. Gordon Neufeld. Dr. Gordon is a clinical psychologist and internationally recognized authority on child development and attachment theory. He is the founder of the Neufeld Institute in Vancouver, Canada, where he teaches courses and develops resources on attachment based approaches to parenting and education. He has 40 years of experience and has worked extensively with children, youth, and families. He's also the pioneer of attachment based developmental theory in practicing parenting and education. Why Children Need to Matter More Than the Peers book, which reshaped global conversations about parenting and the importance of parent child connection. Dr. Gordon, welcome to Khan Clinics.
Thank you, Amir.
Let's start. I'll ask the first question, and this is about Dr. Gordon's book, Hold On to Your Kids. You differentiate between peer attachment and parent attachment. Why is it so important for children to remain attached to adults rather than peers?
The way nature has it is that attachment is meant to be the natural context. It is in all the animal world, the mammal world. Attachment does much of the work. The attachment of the fetus to the host. One couldn't take care of one's unborn child without that unborn child being attached. Uh, we tend to think that once they have their own 2 feet, we can't see that physical attachment. We don't realize how important it is. It turns out to be the most important thing, whether it's in marriage. If you're not attached to your partner, nothing will work. It's the delivery system of care. And when culture is really working well, this is invisible. The context, the natural part is invisible, just as a tree's roots are invisible. Now, we all know enough that a plant and a tree could not exist without being attached to the earth, but we don't see those attachments. But we know enough. We know enough that they're there. Well, unfortunately, in human society, uh, this is the best kept secret, is that it's not what a parent does. It's not the values in a culture. It's the child's attachment to that everything is delivered through the care, the values, and so on. So it really is invisible in our society, and that's why I wrote the book. And Gabor Mate helped me do the writing. But I wrote the book to really bring a consciousness of this, and this is especially critical for immigrants uh, when their culture has preserved this cascading care, this delivery system, this hierarchical nature of attachment, and it's preserved it. And then when you come to North America, uh, it's it's like wanting our children to belong, to be part of the society that they're in, and they want to. And when these ties are broken, nothing works right. And it's where cultures, no matter where they come from, virtually every culture is in better shape than the cultures of North America. But we are some of the most industrious. Our kids look independent, which just camouflages the fact that we've got some of the highest problems. Our children are incredibly troubled, have mental health problems, and very few seem to be tracing it to their roots, is that they've fallen out of cascading care with the adults responsible for them.
Thank you for explaining that, Maya.
How can parents make sense of and navigate frustration in their children by using your traffic circle model?
Well, the understanding is what most needs to work is our attachments, the contact and closeness, the proximity, the love, the belonging. So that's where frustration comes from. If the frustration is huge, if it exists, you know that it is frustration that's stemming from attachments not working. Because a child can't take care of their own attachments. None of us can. This is a function of relationship. That's what it means. This is the science of relationship. And people forget that. People think, oh, well, it's just something, a behavior. No, no, it's a relationship. Um, a marriage would be incredibly frustrating if a partner didn't experience, when he looked in the eyes of or her partner, his partner, an invitation to exist in her presence. This is the bottom line of that relationship, is that invitation. Well, so first of all is understanding where attachment comes from, that we're fueling it. Now, frustration is there for a purpose. It's there to solve a situational problem. Primarily there is when the animating brain senses a threat to togetherness. It's there to be able to change things. But there's so much in our world we can't change. And the only way the animating brain gets it is if there's some sadness about it. And so the traffic circle, the second outlet, is if is the child is meant to go from mad to sad. When things don't work, when you can't make things work, up against the reality, can't get the sibling back in the womb from whence it came. And so sadness resolves, discharges whenever we're up against things that we can't. And so grieving is incredibly important, something that's virtually pathologized in North America. And that's one of the shocks of cultures that come here, is almost all cultures preserve that place of sadness. North America believes that everything can be changed, everything can be different. North American parents are afraid of upsetting their children. They don't confront with the futility that is there. And so what happens is North American children, to an alarming degree, even by toddlerhood, aren't moving from mad to sad. They're having tantrums. They're trying to run and control circumstances. So it's very important. Basically, there's only two legitimate outlets for frustration. One is to solve a problem, but if the problem can't be solved, then to feel the futility of that. And that brings some sadness to us. And that's basically what it is. Now, if frustration gets stale, it hasn't been able to either we haven't been able to change our world, and we haven't been transformed by that. That's deep adaptation, which is grief driven. Then we've got attacking energy in us. And now we have to figure out a way of getting that attacking energy out without hurting anybody. And so we have the tantrums of the toddler. We have all kinds of impulses to attack, including to attack ourselves, of which suicide is one of those derivations. And so when you realize that frustration has work to do, when you realize that, then the parent needs to say, okay, what one of those outlets am I going to encourage or is appropriate here? Do I help the child solve a problem? Do I try and go to the root of that frustration if I can? Do I help them find the sadness when a problem can't be solved? Or do I help him find a legitimate outlet until he grows up enough to have mixed feelings, which will take care of the impulsiveness? And so that's basically the traffic circle of frustration.
Thank you for explaining that. What a remarkable journey we've just experienced together. The path to health isn't always straight, but it's always worth the effort. I hope today's conversation inspired you to take the next step in your wellness journey, armed with new knowledge and a fresh perspective. If today's episode left you inspired, share it with someone who need to hear this. Give us a thumbs up and your opinion. Keep exploring, keep evolving, and we'll see you in the next episode of Khan Klinics.